So far this season, how have you felt about yourself and the offensive line?
Yeah, I think we played pretty well. Obviously you're gonna have a few little mishaps that defenses are gonna do. Looking at it, the other team, their defensive line, they're on scholarship too. They're getting paid big NIL money, just like some of we are here. I think we've done really well as a group. I think we could have done a little bit better last week for sure. But it is what it is at the end of the day. Now we just got to move on and focus on TCU for this weekend.
What do you think was giving you guys trouble this past weekend?
Yeah, looking at the film, they were doing like small little like nuances that kind of broke our rules. I think they saw some of the stuff that we did for UNLV because they had the same kind of structure of defense, and they kind of saw how we protected that, and so they kind of threw a little curveball at it that was a little bit different than what UNLV did.
What do you think about how Shane played at guard alongside you?
Yeah, I was excited whenever he came in. I know he's a smart guy. He was playing center. Me and him competed all fall camp, so I was never worried about him not knowing what to do or anything like that. I remember when he came in, I think 2 plays after he came in, there was an injury timeout for someone on the other team. And we were walking to the sideline, or driving over to the sideline together, and he was like, "Dude, I was so nervous. I felt like a little kid. I was about to pee my pants." It was really funny. But those 2 plays went right behind us and got pretty good. I think it was like 4 yards or 5 yards a pop, and so that was really good. It was a lot of confidence I got in him.
I'm curious, when you do see other teams start to do that, when you break your rules and what you're taught, how do you guys counter that?
Yeah, I think it's just getting on the sideline, getting on the tablet, and seeing what they're doing, and kind of having a talk with Coach A, and also having a talk with Coach Grimes, and trying to figure out what's like the best way for us to adjust because of the people we're sliding to in protection, or people who were like, hey, we need to focus on this guy because he's one of their best pass rushers. Just something along those lines. Just kind of communicate with each other and try to get everyone, us as the offensive line, as the entirety offensive line, offensive coordinator, our quarterback, and our running backs. We all have to be on the same page in order for protection to go the right way.
You've obviously been in college football for a while. Mm-hmm. What's it like now having those tablets available on the sideline where you're able to go over some of that stuff?
A while. You make it sound like I'm old, man. It's only my 4th year. No, but it's really cool. I think it feels like a little more professional. I think it's kind of a cool feeling. And then, every once in a while you have a really good play. So when you're on the sideline, you need a little confidence boost. You can go back to that really good play you had and be like, I can do that. I'm good enough to do it versus when you have like a bad play. But it's a lot easier to adjust, I would say. And then it's a lot easier to pick up tendencies with the iPad. I think that's the biggest thing.
What's it been like getting a block for Devin and Daniel so far?
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun, all throughout fall camp, everyone was hyping them up. And during fall camp, I didn't really pay attention. Fall camp for me is just kind of a cluster. I don't really know what's going on. I don't know what day of the week it is during fall camp. Getting a block for them in games and stuff like that, they love making you right. And so I think it's really easy to block for them.
As an offensive lineman, what's the feeling like when you get an end around like the one to Luke Grimm and you turn around, there's nobody to block?
Yeah. So I've had 3 of those now, and 2 of them I've had pretty good blocks, and the one we actually scored on, the corner kind of just like avoided me and just kind of fell to the ground. So that wasn't as exciting of a block I got to do, but it was one I got to spring it. But I remember talking with Luke on the side, and he was like, "Dude, I saw 4 offensive linemen here, and you kick out the end, and there was just nothing." And he was like, "I knew that was gonna be a touchdown." And so I wish, apparently his GPS was dead. I wanted to see what his mile an hour was on that one because he was flying. He was moving pretty quick.
How do you spend the weather delay?
The weather delay?
Yeah.
We just I kind of looked at like I was talking about some of the adjustments that they made. We were looking at kind of where they were moving to kind of break our rules, and then we were trying to figure out what was the best way for us to attack that versus in the blitzes that they were coming based off of that. It was 90 minutes, so it was a long time of just kind of sitting there waiting and doing that. But I just kind of went through the game to kind of see how the defense was like adjusting to things that we were doing.
What have you seen from TCU in their front 7 so far?
Yeah, they're big, strong guys. 91, he's a transfer from Georgia, and so he knows a little bit about SEC ball, and he's gone against the national championship offensive line that was at Georgia, and so he knows what greatness is. He knows what's a good team. And then number 90, Caleb Fox. I actually played with him when I was in little league ball at South County Football League, so it's pretty cool. But yeah, just kind of knowing their personnel. They're really strong. They have guys who like to hit. They have guys who know how to avoid. And so it's just knowing who's who and just knowing that kind of personnel. So whenever you're going up to block them on the second level or stick on double teams, you know exactly what to expect.
just playing Arrowhead now, obviously different home environment. How does that change for you guys preparation wise? Like what's that like now as you guys go to another home environment?
Hey, a football game is a football game, to be honest. I don't care about the environment. I don't care if there's a million people at the game. I don't care if there's nobody at the game, and it's like a scrimmage type thing. I'm there to play football, and I'm there to try to win a football game for my team. So, I mean, I'm excited. It'll be really cool to play in an NFL stadium. I've played in a few of them, and so it's always exciting to kind of get to play where all the quote big dogs get to play at. But yeah.
And you were talking about breaking your rules. Can you give an example, like in terms of, one?
Yeah. So I'll give an
Yeah.
example on one of the pressures I gave up in the first quarter. I think it was the first quarter. We were running kind of a bootleg, and we had a three technique who was number 11, who was a heck of a player. And when he was stunting, we're used to guys when they stunt, it's usually just like a one gap. And so when we do like a naked type, we're in charge of the gap that we're trying to protect, right? Well, my backside guard was locked on to a 2-eye, and so that was his guy, and then the 3-tech looped around to my backside. And so that's kind of a rule breaker for us, because technically I'm supposed to stick on that, and that's supposed to be my guy, but he's not in my gap. And so that's one of those little foobar kind of rule breakers that are kind of frustrating that kind of happen. And but at the end of the day, it is what it is, and I just got to get better from it, see how, and then with that, right, I got to see that, I got beat on that, so now the defense the following week's going to be like, hey, these guys have those kind of rules, right? And so let's figure out a way to break them. And so now we've been working on it a lot this week on more specifying who has who. And those